The second feature is thoughts are not real. And this was in the 7 features of those doing Emotive Mind, so we covered that a couple of videos ago. But I really liked what John Kabat-Zinn wrote about this, what John Donne wrote about this. It's very succinct, it's very clear, I think it's very illustrative. So I will read it out. So excuse me if I look away from the camera because it's a bit far to read that slide on the screen, so I'm going to look down. Judgments or discursive thoughts are only representations and not real in themselves. They nevertheless present themselves as real. So our thoughts are not real. They don't have any inherent sort of reality, but they present themselves as real. We take them as real. We think because we think something, it must be real. But the thought of an apple is not an actual apple. It cannot be eaten. Nevertheless, we have an innate tendency to construe our thoughts as real. Thus, in a way that is similar to the notion of cognitive fusion, in acceptance and commitment therapy, we fuse or meld our representations of reality with reality itself. So we become very invested in our thoughts, we become very involved, we become sort of fixated, and we become stuck in thought processes. The thought processes, they proliferate. We start with one small thought with, we worry about money. The next moment we're worried about our entire future. So there is a proliferation of thought processes. As a result of seeming to be real in this way, thoughts often seem highly relevant to one, and they thus draw one into a whole series of thoughts. In practice, then, one cultivates the capacity to break this cognitive fusion and not become caught in a chain of thoughts. Okay, so I think we'll all be familiar with this experience of being worried about something. So you're walking down the street, you're worried about your problem, and you find that you're turning this problem over and over in your mind. Your body is becoming tense, your stomach is in knots, and you feel very stressed out. And this stress, this connection between the body and the mind, is further driving this negative feedback loop that is pushing us deeper and deeper into this thought process, which is proliferating at an exponential rate. Now, meditation, mindfulness practice, it gives us the opportunity to notice that this is happening, to pay attention to this relationship between the body and the mind. One of the things I'm saying to my students all the time in mindfulness practice is pay attention to your distraction. Notice when you're distracted, when you're thinking about something, when you're thinking about the apple. And in the moment that you notice that, just pay attention to how it feels in the body, what the experience is of having that thought process, and then to come back to the present moment sensory experience. So we're training ourselves to interrupt this proliferation of mind, this investment in thoughts as being real when in fact they are not real. And it's not that we shouldn't think, it's not that thoughts are not useful. Of course, we're very good problem solvers. It's just that sometimes we get stuck. We're only paying attention to that cognitive process. We lose the connection to the body. We get fixated on problems, and we find that we're becoming quite disembodied, stressed, frozen, and there is this separation of body and mind. And mindfulness practice is helping us to interrupt that process, to connect it with the body, and allow there to be more flexibility in our thought processing style. So mindfulness practice is about interrupting chains of thought. That's a very useful tool, and we have this amazing body that can help us to process and deal with difficulty. Okay, so thoughts are not real. This is a really important area of exploration, and to use mindfulness as a way to interrupt that proliferation of mind, which can be very problematic, especially if you're suffering from a mood disorder. Okay, so we'll move into the last feature now.